Hi, it's Jez here from Nigezza Creates. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome to new subscribers and old subscribers and non-subscribers. So, it's my junk journal January. I have had so much fun making this. It's been hard doing it every day. Well, I haven't done it every day because I've kind of done 2 days together, and I finished it on the 2nd of February. Which I don't think's bad at all, actually. And I'm quite surprised that I kept up with it. Look how chunky it is. I've absolutely loved it. It's mostly full of junk and scraps, and yeah, it's given me ideas. It's inspired me, and yeah, now I'm going to look. I have not looked through this in its entirety. I've literally just filmed the last day and put the fastener on, and now I've turned the camera back on to do the flip through. So I am doing it for the first time in all its glory. So this was the cardboard cover that my internet security card came in. So that is what I made the cover out of. Covered it in some leftover Christmas wrapping paper. That's the inside of it, not the picture on the outside. And then just put brown paper packaging around it. This is ripped off a skirt I no longer wore. I love how it's all ripped and tattered, and yeah, bit of cheesecloth there. So the actual packaging had that lovely hole in it, so that had to be used. And then on the front here, I've got that butterfly is from a publication that Ed reads, and I think that was, I've had that about 3 or 4 years in my stash. I think that might have been during 2020, and I was like, oh, I want that, I can use that. And so yeah, I kept it, and now I finally used it. And then behind we've got some Tracy Fox. That's Witchcraft Can We Do. There's some Stampin' Up paper there. It's a cluster I made. That is a bit of Rachel Bella Crafts. I've got some vintage, antique in fact, ledger paper behind there. And that's a Stampin' Up frame. And yeah, so loved it. And then I just did sort of an inside cover, was just an introduction to the Junk Journal January with all the prompts, and that's my title page. And I've just remembered there was a pocket there. Look at that. I'm just going to shove that in. Cool. I did get that to maybe use, but yeah, now I've done it. So yeah, a little bit stamping, which I love. I do really enjoy that layout. Loved it. And this is an old carrier bag. So yeah, it's all old. So then this is the first day, which was resolutions, and I don't make them, but I won't get messy because I'm surely going to keep that. Want to be authentic. Got a bit of Dash of Dave there, and yeah, I thought I did purchase these Dash of Dave stuff, so that is something new in it. But yeah, just loved it. And then number 2 was quote. And so my sister-in-law had bought me this stamp when she went on holiday in the summer. Never underestimate the power of a woman with a stamp in her hand. So yeah, that's what I did. And this was a dust cover from a book, 500 Reasons Why I Hate the Office. Well, I left the office. Well, it wasn't an office, it was a classroom. I was a teacher, and I traded it in for my craft room, and that is I Love the Craft Room. And yeah, I just put all sorts of things. I was pulling out the sort of like the pinkness and the redness that was in it. And then moving on here, we've got throwbacks. So I've done a little bit of a throwback. So we've got a throwback of Stampin' Up. So some Stampin' Up stuff that's retired that I absolutely love. Bits that I found in my stash that I'd cut out for different things. A tag that I made very early on in my junk journal journey, which is quite thick, and I thought, well, I learnt from that, it's too thick. So yeah, and I've left that. I'm going to write some things, but I didn't want to write before I did flip through, because yeah, I don't want to show my writing. But yeah, so that was a throwback. And then we had tuck spots. So of course we made a tuck spot. So I had this circle laying about from something that I'd made at Christmas, and then I had these little sweetie chocolate, handmade chocolate sort of things, put that on, and so that made me a little tuck spot. I put the date on. So I did, to begin with, start, you know, putting the date on, but obviously it is the 4th of January because it's the 4th thing, so I stopped doing that after a while. But this was, oh look, and I've just put a memory on there. Today I finished my boho journal. This beauty was left over, and I just had to use it in my junk journal January. Oh, I'd forgotten I'd written that. Oh, that's really lovely, Jez. And that was one of the tags that was left over, and I'll write a little bit more on that. So yeah, I love my boho journal. And none of this is tucked, is it? This is just some more of the things left over, a bit of bourdieu, some more of those little beauties. A lovely frame that was given to me by my friend Brenda. And yeah, she's also on the Rachel Bella design team. And then we had daily log. Don't do that. But I kind of did so this is part of the printout of Junk Journal January. So I just shoved that on as if I was making plans. YouTube, yeah, do that. A blog, yeah, do that. What have I got to do? Instagram. I have done a little bit more Instagram in January. What are my goals? To sell my journals and to make some digitals. And I've done both of those things. I need to do more. Well, I haven't sold digitals. I've made digitals and I've given them away as freebies. So do check out my Ko-fi site, link down below. This was then memory. What did I put? Oh yeah, keep track of. Oh, that was me. Keep track. My son has done. He showed me last night. Actually, really proud of his first month. He's done one of these tracking journals, sort of tracking all sorts of things. And so I just did a little bit of one there. So memory. So this is a Stampin' Up memory. So we've got. So this was wrapping paper. That's the back of wrapping paper, and that's one of my favourite sentiment stamps with Stampin' Up. These are the moments we will look back with joy, and I often use those in journaling and scrapbooking. I think it's lovely. Picked out some Stampin' Up paper to sort of tie in, and then I put in a photo into this envelope of my memory, and I'm going to write on the back of it. It's quite awkward to get out now that it's so chunky. So that's me and my friend Jill. We met on my very first ever, I think it was Jill's very first ever, Stampin' Up event that I attended 7 years ago this June. And we were sharing a room, never met each other before, and that sparked a friendship that sort of continues. And that was us actually crafting, and we're notorious for going on crafting events and not crafting, and I'm no different now. I've done 2 Rach and Bella events, and I didn't particularly craft on either of them. I got another one in a couple of weeks, and I probably won't make very much. I just go around chatting to everybody. I can't help myself. I'm there for the social, really. A little bit of inspiration. I do a little bit of crafting, but not much. So yeah, so I will write on the back there about it. Yeah, I'm quite sad. I'm getting a bit emotional actually, thinking about the fact that I've left that, because it has been a massive part of my life. But I've got new friends and new retreats, so it's all good. And then we had stitched. So I had these dies, yeah, I thought they were perfect for this. So this die, cut them out, and it left these outlines, and then I just cut round the outlines, and I love that. And I just left that as it was, and I just stamped some stitching around it, and really like that page. And then we had neutral, right up my street, neutral. So this was already neutral. This was a paper bag. So I had this die cut from a book page. Okay, my phone rang then, so I had to stop. Oh, I had to stop because it cuts off your filming. So I think I was just saying I had this leftover moustache, so I just added these words. I think these were Tracy Fox. And then I just did a bit of collaging on this side, and I had this bit of receipt. Yeah, I just made a little neutral collage page. Really enjoyed that. And then we had foliage. And what I did with this, I made these two together because the other side was layered. So I had this, this was a window envelope. So I made sure that through the window I could see some foliage, really. So I've stamped foliage. I've got wood grain embossing folder on the frames, got foliage and flowers, and I did some napkin with foliage as well. And then I did the two together so that they would sort of link up. So this is layered, so we've got the layers that you can see on the other side, and I've layered here, I've layered some ink on top of the paper, and then I've layered ink and gold on top of that frame. I've layered up 2 die cuts there, and I've got layers of cardstock and layers of ink here. I've layered 4 layers there for the actual prompt, and yeah, bit of that. So I really enjoyed that. I thought that was cool, and I like this idea, so I thought I'd take this through if I'm going to have a window envelope page, that to think about each side, that it complements each page that you're doing. And then we had eclectic. Well, I had so much fun with this and loved it. So got a bit of all sorts in this. We've got a bit of obviously paper doll and a butterfly. I've got Edith Holden. I've got tags. I've got a bit of sort of steampunky. I've got your sort of nature stuff. Yeah, just everything really going on here. Bit of ripping, bit of original, as well as digitals. Yeah, had real fun making this one. Don't be a tourist, be a traveller. And then we've got torn edge on this one, so everything. Let's not be distracted by what's underneath. So this is the torn edge. So I just tore everything, and I even did some torn edge in the backgrounds where I used my blending brush, and yeah. So yeah, lots of tearing going on there. And that I tore that off there, and then I just stuck it down there. And then we had garden. So we've got, I mean, I like that you can see bits down, but we're just focusing on the page there. So this was an envelope in it. When I put this together, I had no idea what each page was going to sort of appear like. So it was nice to just be faced with, well, this is what you're making, Jez. This is what you've got to work with. So yeah, so I like that little seed packet, and I've added a butterfly there. This is from a beautiful book I've got, and I cut that out. Added a bit of music, and in this envelope here there is a little tag, and this is the farm where the Rach and Bella summer retreat is held in. It's amazing. Rach has done some sharing actually on social media about the summer event. I'd just urge you to go if you can. It's amazing. The location is just stunning, and the barn where we're crafting is amazing. The accommodation's gorgeous, and yeah, it's just a lovely, lovely time. I'm going to write something about the retreat. I've since been on another one. I'm due another one. Yeah, I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. Accommodation, food, everything's included in the price. It's amazing. So just bring some stuff and craft with friends. Yeah. And this is pattern. So this was some jelly prints that I had that I'd not done anything with. So the jelly prints themselves had a bit of pattern on. I'd made some things to make marks, and then I cut them out with this stamp, this punch rather, to make a pattern. It was quite simply done, that one. And then we got opposites. So this had foliage but not any flowers, and this had some flowers but no foliage. So I added some extra flowers and drew in with me doodles some flowers, left them uncoloured, and on this side I doodled flowers and coloured them in. So some opposites on some many levels. And I thought I'd done a video on making this, but I haven't, so I might do one. So this was Flow. I can't see the prompt. Did I not put the prompt? It would seem you didn't, Jez. Well, how very remiss of me. Oh, I have. It's up there. Flow. So I wanted to do something, a pattern that sort of flowed. So I used some paper that I had used some oxide sprays on. I've got the rulers going through from Witchcraft You Do, Tracy labels going through. They may be Artie Mae's tickets, they may be Tracy tickets, I don't know. And then we've got Dasher Dave going through. So that's what I did. So I made these tags. I did nothing to the background other than inking. So lots of space on there to write a reflection. I don't know if this was the point at which I got poorly, but I got poorly in January, and I've left space there that I could write on. So yeah, I've done some things in January. I've taken some photos. I might print some and put them in. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. That took a long time because it was like 2 double pages and I had to make the tags. And then we had Whimsical, and I loved doing this as well. Really love more people with butterflies. There's quite a few people with butterflies through this, but I just thought that's quite whimsical. People with butterflies is very whimsical, and yeah, so that's what I went with. Really enjoyed that. Adding some of my favourite punches. This is a set of note cards that I bought from Charity Shop, and yeah, loved the colours. Very bright for me. I'm not really into bright. And then borders. This is more my colour scheme. Very neutral. So I had loads and loads of die cut borders, and they were all very bright, so I just sprayed them and me distress oxide inks, and yeah, they're I love it. And I sort of cut some, I stamped some borders, cut some with punches, and yeah, I really love how that came together. Lots of these pages just came together as I was doing them. What have we got here? Interactive. So obviously I had to have some pockets. I utilised things that I'd already previously made for this. So that's a pocket with a tag. This was a freebie from Witchcraft. Do you do? Do you do? There you go. So that went nicely in there. And another pocket on this side with another tag that I had previously made. So I've got lots of journaling space and journaling to go back and do, but I love it. And then we had nature. So this was a flip that I had in my stash. It's actually, this pocket here is part of the flip. So again, when I did this, I was thinking about the next one I was going to do, so I've stuck it on there, and the flips on this side. Just added some envelope, that is, to give me a journaling space. And I just decoupaged some floral napkin on there, put a bit of washi down there, and then just a fussy ripped one of these big flowers here. So yeah, that was nature. And then we had peeping out. So I did this page first, and decided to make a little hole that swings, so we've got different things peeping out of the hole as you swing it around. Just collaged on there some Rachel Bella Crafts paper, some washi, some book page, and then just added that. I found that brad. It wasn't the brad I was looking for, but it was the one I found. And then I was going to leave this side and not do very much, and then yeah, this happened. So I had this watercolour bit with some stamping that I did ages ago, and so then I just put things behind it peeping out, and my idea was you'd be peeping out to say hello. So that's where I went with that one. Really pleased with that. And then bookshelf. So this was fun. So I found these sort of die cut things in my stash. I've no idea where they came from, and it's just not something I would have bought either, so I don't know. Anyway, I was looking for a bookshelf, couldn't find one, so I found a cupboard with shelves, and so I filled it with books. This was from some paper that I've got, DSP from Stampin' Up, and yeah, and I thought my son must have did that. He's looking for a new place to live, and this would be what he'd want. So he'd have books, and his books are all piled everywhere. There'd be a pile for what he's reading, a pile for what he's read, a pile for what he wants to keep, a pile for what he doesn't want to keep. He likes a cup of tea. He loves a cat. He likes a little tipple, and yeah, so he likes to cook. So yeah, that's where that came from. Oh, texture. I loved this. I basically just put loads of texture down. So I just looked in my scrap pile for what I had that was texturized. This was from a chocolate box that I literally finished the night before. This is a embossing folder on, and then I've put some ink on it to let it show through, and it kind of blends in with the pattern on the paper. I've used embossing folder back there. We've got some corrugated cardboard. We've got some like handmade paper, got some cork. Yeah, just loads of things. Paper with texture in it. Loved it. Loved it. And then fabric. Yeah, so I just threw a load of fabric down. And then a fabric flip with colours. So that gave me the colour scheme that I was going for. But yeah, really enjoyed doing that. And then we had ombre, and that is just, I wanted to keep this, and although that's not ombre, it's just a pretty page, so I wasn't going to do anything on that. So this was plain brown paper, so I just, was it brown paper? No, it wasn't. I stuck brown paper down, I think, on it. Yeah, I think so. I can't really remember. And so yeah, it does feel like that's stuck on. So I think this was like that tissue paper from, no, that's the tissue paper from Totally for Crap. Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. So I just used ink and ombre up it, and with different colour blues, and then I stamped over it with some new stamps that I got. And yeah, I just like how it was kind of emulating what was on that side. And then on this side, I put, it was just brown paper, Jez. So, oh, it was brown paper, and it had the other flip of the envelope there. So I just stuck some things on here and then put some tissue paper over, because it's translucent, so you can sort of see through it a little bit. And on this translucent side, this was Don't Give a Crap Loo Roll cover and wrapping, and so I just put a paper napkin over it, so that's translucent and we can see a little bit of the spots from underneath. And then that's a little bit of napkin on some book page to make this butterfly, and I cut it out. And yeah, and I put some cheesecloth, which in itself is translucent a bit. You can see through the holes. So that was my translucent page. And then lyrics. I loved doing this. So Romeo and Juliet by Dire Straits, one of my all-time favourite songs. So I've got some of the lyrics on there with a bit of gesso on the background. And then on this side, I stuck a bit of what they call music paper that you write music on. The name has just gone out my head. So I wrote a bit of music. Well, I didn't write a bit of music. I wrote some notes. I drew some notes. I didn't write music at all. Dread to think what that would play like. A bit of doily. And then I went off in search of a Romeo and Juliet picture. And I went down the little rabbit hole, and I got loads and loads of vintage posters from sort of plays and things. And so that's a freebie over on my Ko-fi site. It's not just got that one. It's got 8 on the sheet, I think. So yeah, anybody who downloaded it early doors didn't get it because I hadn't loaded. I hadn't put it. I'd put it on. I'd put a little picture of it, but I hadn't actually loaded the document. So if you went on early doors and it wasn't there, and you thought, what the, you know, where is it? What am I doing wrong? You weren't doing anything wrong. It wasn't there, but it's there now. So yeah, enjoyed that. It was quite time consuming, but enjoyed it. And then grungy. Oh, I just love a bit of grunge. So I just went mad with my sprays. And this was a grungy tag that was already in my stash. And so this was that dust cover from that book. So it was quite sort of, it's got a funny texture on it. So I just covered it. And yeah, I got some grungy cheesecloth that I'd used for mopping up. Bit of grungy paper from Dasher Dave. Grunged up a little bit of doily. That was from when I'd sprayed those borders, and that was the book. I always put a book page down, spray over it, and then that gives some interesting things that you can use later. So that was so much fun. In my element, doing a bit of grunge. And then geometric. So I went with a sewing pattern, because you need a lot of geometry when you're working out a sewing pattern. Patterns are geometric. I was really thinking outside the box here. And you know, placing these in a certain way so that they fit on the page the best. And yeah, so this was a pattern to make this dress. Really like the colour of this. Added some fabric, some tape measure. I loved it. And this is really making me now want to go and finish my sewing journal, because I absolutely loved making this. Give me some ideas for tags, and just, yeah, I loved it. Reminds me of my sister. Yeah, really liked it. And then we had travel. And so enjoyed that. Got lots of travel stamps, because I make journals, scrapbooks of our travels when we go on holiday, and so I've got a lot of travel related stamps. So yeah, enjoyed doing that. It's a bit of a spider diagram of what travel sort of means, and then this is quite Parisian, yeah, I remembered lots and lots of holidays doing this. It was quite enjoyable. And then the last thing is reflect, and I was just sort of reflecting on how I've evolved as a crafter, of going from sort of making cards and using Stampin' Up a lot, and moving into vintage, my happy place, my home, and making journals, and yeah, and all the sort of inspiration and the friendships that I have gained from being in the crafting community, and loving every minute of it. So yeah, that is, I didn't put anything on the back. That is, that's Junk Journal January. You keep flipping out, you flip. Yeah, so wonderful thing to do. I think I'll probably do it next year, because I did enjoy that. Or maybe this is one and done. I don't know. But I really enjoyed it. And yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed the series. There is a playlist, so if you've missed some of these pages and you want to see how I made them, you can go back and have a look. They're all numbered. I did 2 days at a time, apart from the last one where I did that one on its own. So yeah, love it. All right, bye for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe.